everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and in honor of Obi Wan Kenobi, which is doing great, mind you, I'm loving it. Fuck all the haters, me. I've decided to do something that I don't do very often. I am going to rank the Star Wars movie universe. Now, I'm not going to include any of the shows because that would make this list even much more longer. And this really is a tester for if I'm gonna ever rank the MCU. But I love the MCU. There are a lot of movies in there that are fantastic that would be hard to do. But unlike that, the films in the Star Wars universe, now I'm only doing like the big ones that came out in theaters, by the way. I'm not gonna include any, if there's an animated one there or something like that, I'm not including that. Just the big ones that came out in theater. Now, I will start from best to worst. Number one, with a bullet, is The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back is still to this day, I believe, the best Star Wars film. It's the one of that original trilogy that stands out the most. It's movies, great sequels. When your sequel is so good that other good sequels are called The Empire Strikes Back of their trilogy, you know you did something great. So The Empire Strikes Back is number one with a bullet. Number two, I would probably say, is A New Hope. I believe A New Hope is number two. It's the OG Star Wars movie. It's the first one. It's the one that set this entire thing on fire. That just revolutionized so much. You know, the technology that they used, these characters, the Jedi, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, all of it started with A New Hope. And even looking back at that film, it was such an amazing film. It was such an amazing job. It was great work, honestly. A New Hope is my number two Star Wars film. Coming in at number three, I'd probably have to go with, shockingly to some people might be surprised by this, Rogue One. I think Rogue One, so far, is the best of the new Disney movies. Because Rogue One really put emphasis, and I know some people have different feelings about Rogue One, but Rogue One put so much emphasis on the war aspect of Star Wars. And it showed such a different angle. It had so much grit to it. And you know me, I'm not exactly the guy who's like, I need things to be R-rated. But Rogue One really showed a darker edge. An edge that would be exploited in The Mandalorian The Mandalorian and Boba Fett and now Obi Wan Kenobi. You know, this darker edge that, never existed. It had that amazing Darth Vader sequence, of course. There's some, the cinematography in Rogue One is just stunning, dude. It's so beautiful. It's like I say, it's the Star Wars movie that put the word war into the Star Wars. And I always appreciate it for that. My number four movie would be Return of the Jedi. Of course, Return of the Jedi would have to be in there. Of course, it's funny because Return of the Jedi, a lot of people say that Return of the Jedi was a letdown, depending on who you're talking to. I didn't see it that way. I thought Return of the Jedi was a good wrap-up. Now, was it the home run wrap-up? Was it like Lord of the Rings? Or, was it a home run? No, but it wasn't The Godfather Part 3 or anything like that. It wasn't quite, Return of the Jedi is a weird one because while it does wrap up so many stories and we get so many iconic moments and, the destruction of the Death Star and all these different things and this great wrap up to this story and good overcoming evil. While we got Luke in the black outfit with the green lightsaber and all this, we got so much in that, the death of Boba Fett or the supposed death of Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. There's so much to happen in that movie, Slave Leia. The movie itself, it's so Return of the Jedi, it's so funny looking back because I think it did its job. Could it have been better? Could it have been more epic? Maybe. But it was still good. It was still epic at the time. Sure, some people would say it's not as good as the other two movies in the trilogy, which I'd probably agree. I do think It's nowhere near as good as Empire Strikes Back, which is so strange because you just would imagine it would be, you know. But I digress. Return of the Jedi at number 4. Number 5, go Force Awakens. I know some people have their opinions about Force Awakens. I know some people they have some deniers, but you have to admit, at the time when Force Awakens came out, it really hit hard. Sure, was it a nostalgia fest? Yes, it was. But for the most part, The Force Awakens is still... Now, The Force Awakens is one of those movies that I was willing to let a lot of things slide, because the movie does have a ton of problems. Don't get me wrong. I was letting a lot of things slide because me and you probably imagined that they would do more in the sequel. Imagine that the problems that we have will be either clarified, because the MCU is good at doing this. The MCU is great at doing this. When you have a problem with something in the MCU, or you have a question that you're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, this is a plot hole. Like, all of a sudden, 2 movies later, they answered that very thing that you were wondering about, and it explains it, and it's like, okay, well, I guess it's not a problem. I guess they knew what they were doing. So you figure some of the issues with Rey's character and other things would eventually be explained, like with a backstory and whatnot, would be explained, and all these things. And this was a good first chapter. And yes, Disney played it safe by essentially copying A New Hope. But, you know, after the prequel trilogy and people's opinions on those vary, they had to do something different. They had to play it a bit more safe, and I do not blame them there. I do not blame them there. In the end, I still ended up having a good time with that film. I still ended up having a good time with Force Awakens. Is it Force Awakens? I think it's Force Awakens. Yeah, I still ended up having a pretty good time with that. But you know, so good enough time that it comes in at number 5. Number 6 has to be, to me, Revenge of the Sith. I like, you know, out of all those prequel movies, Revenge of the Sith is the one that sticks to me, because Revenge of the Sith is the best one. Like, it's as if, like, everything was better. The CGI was actually pretty good. The fight choreography was even better. The story reached its most dramatic climax, their most dramatic point. Shit was going down. There was no filler. There was no time for filler. It was, you know, you got Obi Wan fighting Grievous. You got fucking Anakin going completely dark side. You got Yoda fighting goddamn, you know, Palpatine. Like, there's so much going on. And Anakin killing Mace Windu. I mean, there was so much. Like, that, like, Revenge of the Sith is all killer with very little filler. It's still not great, because it's still being made by George Lucas at this time period, and the CGI is still not there yet, and he's still pushing the hell out of it. So this dialogue is still kind of clunky, and there's still issues. But overall, Revenge of the Sith, I actually think is a good Star Wars movie. It's a good one. It's a really good one. You know, after Revenge of the Sith, we're just talking about turds here. You know, we're just talking about different kinds of turds. But if I had to say, you know, a 7th movie, it would have to be probably Solo. I didn't find Solo to be bad, but it was like a movie. It was like, I could have not seen this, and, you know, I'd be alright. That's Solo. Solo, like, I really don't have much to say about it. Solo's number 7, just because I have no real negative emotions towards Solo. Then there's The Last Jedi. If you go back on my channel, you can see me and my friends, Seth and Mark, talk about Last Jedi. And, like, talk about just how much it felt like a spit in the face. I was not a Star Wars fan. Not that big of a one. I was a Star Wars fan, but I wasn't, like, that big of a Star Wars fan. And even I felt like Last Jedi was insulting me. Last Jedi made me angry. But the reason it's only, you know, 8 instead of, like, with the other the 2 dumpster fires is because from a visual standpoint, cinematography, costume design, score, acting, you know, from all the actual, what's the word I'm looking for, technical standpoints, it's actually a hell of a well-made film. It's a beautifully made film. And I actually thought that battle when, you know, Kylo and Rey were back-to-back fighting those two guys were cool. I thought like there are ideas in this movie. I thought Mark Hamill is giving a great performance. I'm not liking what he's doing, but it's the same thing I felt about the Joker. I said it before. I can appreciate Joaquin Phoenix's performance as the Joker, as, you know, Arthur Fleck or whatever, while also not liking the direction they're going with the character. And the same thing here. I enjoyed Mark Hamill. I enjoyed certain aspects, which is why it's not bottom. But the anger that this movie made me feel, the disrespect, the just how badly it felt like it was telling me that you're stupid for being a fan and fuck you. That's how that movie made me feel. And I just remember walking out of that theater being like, God damn, I'm not even that hardcore of a fan, but I feel fucking insulted. Now, coming in at, I believe I'm at 9. Comment below, I'm at 9. Either way. Coming in after that would have to be Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace because of 3 things. Just 3 things. Well, 4. 1, got Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi. I mean, he was great casting. I mean, how better casting than getting that? It's amazing. Ewan McGregor, a treat. 2, Darth Maul. Darth Maul! Oh my gosh, do you guys remember the Mountain Code Red Mountain Dew drinks? How much Code Red did Darth Maul sell? Holy shit. Darth Maul, the coolest design, one of the coolest designed aliens of all time. Only didn't really do a lot, but so fucking cool. And the double-sided lightsaber, like, shit that you were just like, whoa, I didn't even know this shit existed. What? I thought it was just this fucking one thing. You got double-sided lightsabers, and it was crazy. Darth Maul was fucking legit. So yeah, Darth Maul, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Duel of Fate, yes, that score is just, it's an amazing score. The score throughout this trilogy was great, to be fair, but that was an amazing score. The final battle with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul was legit. That's about it. Everything else, meh. I mean, it was cool. Well, Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, it was cool. But everything else was just like, that's kind of cool. That's about it. Maybe. To just terrible with the whole Anakin Skywalker and everything. But the worst Marvel movie, the worst Star Wars movie of all time, to me, it's easily the worst, is Attack of the Clones. Because Attack of the Clones has some of the most long, boring sequences in the entirety of Star Wars. There are so many sequences that are just so lengthy and boring with people talking about politics, and the whole romance between Anakin and Padme was such a heavy thing, but neither one of these two had chemistry, and both of them were so bad, and which is crazy because Natalie Portman's an amazing actress, but it was just so bad. It gave us so many memes and so many, I mean, we got a lot from it. The only entertaining thing about that entire episode, Attack of the Clones, was Obi-Wan, but he can't make up for how bad it was. Attack of the Clones is the worst Star Wars movie. You heard it from me. Anyways, comment below and let me know, what do you think of my Star Wars live action movie rankings? Which movie did I leave out? Did I leave out a movie? Or do you agree with my rankings? How would you rank the Star Wars films so far released? How would you... Oh, I did forget a movie. I'm gonna just say it's the worst one. Rise of Skywalker, obviously. Like, Rise of Skywalker so bad I forgot about it. Rise of Skywalker so bad I forgot about it, man. Like, and it has some cool sequences, but it's just a miss. It's just a mess of a film. Just a mess of a film. So yeah, Rise of Skywalker is tied with Attack of the Clones as worst Star Wars movie. Anyway, thank you guys for the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.